I was hoping to spot a topic for my podcast during my recent trip to London, and I wasn't disappointed. Let's have ourselves a pocket sized pep talk because who knew the first lesson would appear before I even checked into my hotel room?
A Pocket Sized Pep Talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
This week I found myself in jolly old England, only I have to admit, I wasn't too jolly when I first got there. An hour and a half into the immigration control line at the airport will weaken your jolliness just a little bit. I was detained by a power-hungry immigration officer, not for the lack of a working visa, which I did not need, but for the lack of inquiring about a working visa, which I did not need. This kind of interaction will take a little more jolliness from you. Getting to your hotel room at about 1 a.m. will weaken it some more. Still, there's no excuse to be ugly. You know, the term ugly American is a term I truly detest. Wikipedia defines it this way: a term used to refer to perceptions of arrogant behavior by Americans abroad. Well, having traveled to many different countries over my 40 years of seminar travel, I've seen it up close and personal. We don't do it that way in the United States is usually the mantra that identifies this ugly behavior. I've heard it, I've seen it, and unfortunately, I've lived it. Strolling into my hotel and stripped of my jolliness, by the way, an interesting irony for a man named Jollis, I mumbled my way through the usual hotel welcome pleasantries. Just as I was getting ready to break off this smile fest, I inquired about the internet. Yes, sir, that's £10 a day per device. Per device? That meant I could get emails on my laptop, but not on my cell phone. My cell phone was on strict orders through its menu settings to not roam while I was on this trip. Per device meant I could not use it even when I was in the hotel without paying another £10 a day. That's when my jolliness ended and out came the words I detest. We don't do it that way in the United States, along with a smirk. Shame on me. No, we don't do it that way in the United States. As a matter of fact, half the hotels in the United States don't even charge for internet service to registered guests. Good for us. Unfortunately, I seem to have forgotten I wasn't in the United States. In the United Kingdom, the hotels charge for internet services per device. I growled a little, grabbed my key, marched off like the ugly American I had become. But this story does have a better ending than that. I woke up the next morning feeling jolly again and thinking straight. This wasn't my country or my culture, and I had no right treating a man who was merely repeating company policy the way I did. I went back to the front desk, found the individual who'd been subjected to my rude behavior, and promptly apologized. Fortunately, the individual I had offended barely remembered our encounter. I did, however, and I wanted to make it right. This little faux pas of mine reminded me that every time we find ourselves not liking something because we don't do it that way, it would be wise to think very carefully about how we react. Just because we don't do it that way doesn't make it wrong. As a matter of fact, we might learn better ways of doing things if we aren't so quick to pass judgment on the different ways of different cultures.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.